beautiful day here in New York, so I thought what a better place to talk about New York Bridal Fashion Week than sitting outside in New York City. I think one of the things that I love about New York Fashion Week is that I've been able to go ahead and attend it as an upcoming bride. So I was able to attend it back in 2022 before I got married, and now I get to go as a wedding vendor, which is just absolutely incredible. I love it because that there are so many opportunities to see what's going to be happening in the bridal industry. It makes me more in tune with the couples that I'm working for. It allows me to be more insightful as a vendor, and it just keeps me up to date about what's happening in the industry. You're also getting to connect with a lot of people, some people who I've made connections with and friendships online. Others are people that I've wanted to meet, and some are people that I don't know until I'm actually there. Since I've been posting in the wedding sphere on TikTok and on Instagram, I got a lot of invites that way. I also have some brand partnerships, and through my manager we're able to get some invites that way. So it's a little bit of a mix and a match, but I think if you're interested in going to New York Bridal Fashion Week, I know when I started out by just reaching out to the companies that I really love their products, really like connected with me, and I just asked them if they had a show or two, and some of them did, and they invited me. The first Bridal Fashion Week I only went to one show. This year I did about 3 shows a day. That worked best for my schedule. I was able to see the collections and the designers that I wanted to see. I was also able to try to align my schedule to go with friends of mine who are also going to be going to these shows, because like you like to know somebody when you go into a show. Overall, anyone can tell you that bridal has a really big way to go when it comes to size inclusivity, when it comes to diversity. I know for me, I really tried to tailor the collections that I was going to see, or the shows that I was making a big effort to see, to be those who either were from diverse designers, those who have values or have made a commitment to diversity, or those who do carry extended sizes, because like that should be the norm in bridal, not the exception. Monday I went to the Muna Lunchi Bridal Showcase. That was really interesting because that was like my first time that it was like a vendor to couple showcase. I'd love to attend that one again. If I got an invite to that one, I would definitely go again, because that one was catered for individuals who are actively planning their wedding. So a lot of the bridal week shows, and like you'll see with shows that I went to later in the week, are really like the designers are showcasing, and people who are there, part editors, part fashion, who are just in the wedding space, and some are brides, but most of them are not brides. Whereas this event was catered specifically to individuals who are planning their wedding really in the like New York or like tri-state area. And then all of the vendors who were there, so the flowers, the catering, the food, the everything that went along, those were active vendors. So it was actually really interesting, because when you were walking around the event, you would just like walk up to people and be like, who are you? Like, are you a bride? Are you getting married? Are you a wedding vendor? Like, what do you do? That was kind of fun, because like you never know who you were walking into a conversation with. That was also really great to experience as a vendor, to be able to go through and talk about my services to different couples who were there, tell them a little bit about what I do, but then also, because part of my business does deal with like doing content for vendors at weddings, that was also really nice for me to have a space to be able to network with other vendors who may be interested in my services as well. I love this one too, because the Muna Lucia like is more of a diverse like wedding space. That would be the word that I would use. Most of the vendors there were very well versed in what it means to have like different ethnic or different cultural significances a part of weddings. This is what I learned, but in a lot of Guyanese weddings, they like to bring in their own food. Some people find it more traditional that their family members will cook for them on the day of their wedding. So as where a lot of caterers will say, hey, I don't necessarily work with food unless I bring it out, like that would be like your traditional vendor. And I say traditional because like that's just like mainstream and like what people tell you should happen. In this, a lot of the caterers who were there, or the bar staff who was there, would say like, hey, we have the insurance. We know that this is something that's important to you, or important to your culture, important to your family. So we can work within that to make sure that even if you bring in the food, we can serve that. And so that's why I said, where it's like having more information and knowing like specific cultural norms, that I think really made this a unique event, so that people who are looking for something specific had it like hyper localized. And what was really cool is they had a whole panel on custom wedding dresses, and that was just really incredible to like watch all of that come to play. The next day we started the morning over at Jenny U. I always love their collection. I have done partnerships with them before for their little white dress collection, and so I really love Jenny U. I mean, she makes incredible dresses themselves. I actually wore Jenny U as my second wedding dress to our wedding, but this one was in partnerships with Anthropology Weddings as well. So they had rented out a cafe space, and what was really cool is because it was kind of like an interactive museum in the sense that they had their models in the dresses walking around, and they were changing like every 15-20 minutes, so you really got to see them not only just like hanging, but you got to see them on. They also have a really great like little white dress, so for other elements of like the wedding planning process, so that was really fun. From there, I went to one of my favorite shows of the week, which was Inez de Santos, and these dresses were pieces of art. They were masterpieces. We were seeing color, we were seeing attention to detail. I'm a ball gown, like A-line type girly, like personally in my own preferences myself, and so to just see these, each one of them was a piece of art. When I saw these dresses walk down the aisle, I was like, that's what wedding dresses and like having craftsmanship behind it is everything. I ended the night at the Waters event. I absolutely love the Waters team as well. I've been able to work with them, and their event always is so fun. They had it at a bar in the city, and then they actually partnered with some other brands. So there was makeup touch-ups by Charlotte Tilbury. They had a ring try-on with Versolo, who they do diamond renting. So if you are interested in like wearing diamond earrings or a diamond bracelet for your wedding, but like you don't want to buy one because like you don't normally wear diamonds, that's a really great service. And they also had live illustrations, so I thought that one was fun too because it gave everyone something to do, as well as like a preview of their collection. Waters as well has very beautiful wedding dresses. Their Waters, like their design is incredible, and they also have a lot of fun dresses for other elements of part of wedding planning. They even have some incredible, one of my favorite like cocktail dresses that I own like in my house is from Waters, and that was just so fun because they had thought of every single detail, and the makeup tutorial honestly was great. I learned that we are all using beauty blenders wrong, and this is why you have makeup pros to tell you these things and you don't just learn them on TikTok. I woke up early the next day and I went to Galia La Havre, and there they were having a preview, so they had their models walk out in the dresses. I think there is where I started to really see the like themes of what I think like the next year, so 2024 is going to be. There is a lot of sleeve moments that are happening. There is a lot of exposed corset, and there is a lot of sparkle, at least in my opinion, that we're seeing. And these were things that I had seen at Jenny U and Inez de Santos. You know, by this time, this was my third show, and I was like, okay, these are what like I'm really seeing as like the big trends that I think we're gonna see a lot of more and more. Next, I went to the One Fine Day Market. This is something that I make sure to go to every single year. So like I said, most of the other shows you have to be invited to. For One Fine Day Market, there still is an invitation process, but instead of it being like one show around one designer, there are all these different stalls that you can walk around and see the different designers and collections. So maybe if someone didn't have enough money to throw a show, or they were just kind of testing the water, this is a lot of where you'll find new designers. They're usually at market. I have always made it a priority to go to this because on my first year, this was one of the only things that I got an invitation for. This is also more of a B2B experience, so a lot of the people who go to market are individuals who own a dress shop, and so they're looking for dresses and collections to carry in store for their brides, and so they know more about like their demographic, their markets, what they're interested in. It's always important to me to go and just to learn about what's going on, learn about other designers, learn about designers that may not be like the most mainstream. I fell in love with a sparkly blazer there. So good. And also too, got to see Charlotte Mills and Gown Eyed Girl are doing a collection on one of the most beautiful wedding shoes ever. And I got to see that up close and in person. From there, I hopped in a cab and went to the Plaza. I'm still screaming, though I can say that out loud, but this was, again, up there as one of my top shows of the weekend was Nardo. So they had their collection. It was just a surreal experience to be like shipping champagne in the Plaza, getting to like look at the most beautiful wedding dresses and just seeing these pieces of work come down the runway. Like, it was one of those pinch me moments. Not even 5-year-old me couldn't believe this. A year ago, I wouldn't have believed this if you would have told me. Even though we like live in New York, I'd never been to the Plaza before. Like, I didn't have a reason to go. I had heard a lot about like what inspires her. And so then to actually see that come to life in a show like that, you're not only getting like the dresses that are presented in front of you, which are the most incredible part, but you're also getting the whole effect. So they had like music that was timed with the dresses, and like seeing just all of that creative vision come to life was incredible. The last show for Bridal Fashion Week that I went to was Essay. This was actually in her showroom in Manhattan, and what was incredible is that her whole family was there as well, just to see pieces of art walk through. The woman that I was sitting next to was actually a 2024 bride. Wedding planner had brought her, and she was saying that she was actually coming to the store the next week to try on dresses for her wedding. That was really cool to sit next to a bride and like hear her ooh and ah and gasp, because that's what I do for wedding dresses, but that's, you know, kind of the industry that I work in. To see someone who are seeing these, I mean, we were all seeing the collection for the first time, but like really falling in love with the bridal and the bridal line. It was incredible. It was magnificent. In terms of Bridal Fashion Week, this was one to remember, and this was only spring fashion week, so we'll have another one here in the fall.